Girly Pops, welcome back to Black Girl Confessions. This is the podcast where we say the quiet things out loud. As you can see, I'm in a new background, in a new studio. I am kind of playing around with what I want the mood for BGC to be. Do I want it airy, fairy, light and beige? Or do I want it moody, mysterious, kind of sexy, kind of cute, kind of you don't know what I'm going to talk about, kind of I'm going to read you to filth? And I think that moody, I'm going to read you to filth, you don't know what I'm going to say next, is the vibe. I think this is the vibe. The grey is cute, it's sleek, it's, you don't know what I'm going to do, you don't know what my next moves are, and I'm here for it. I'm comfy, I'm lounging, I am ready to read the men to filth today and to uplift the honeys. That is literally the aim of today. That is what we're doing. Let me not ramble on too much. I want to kick February off with a mini series. This series is all about becoming the best version of yourself. And I know I've said this a gazillion times and you're like, Z, baby, like, what does that mean? What are you talking about? What are you wanting us to do? How do we become the best version of ourselves? And I will tell you, don't worry, rest assured, I'm going to give you the blueprint. And this isn't something I'm selling you. This isn't something I'm telling you to buy. This is something that I'm actively doing myself. So me and you, we're learning together. Me and you, we're going to be like this by the end of it. And we're going to be bad bitches. And in the process, we are dragging the men. We are reading them to filth. So the name of the series is Becoming Her. And I ummed and ahed about it. And I thought about it for a hot minute because I feel like the term becoming her, become her has been thrown around so much, has been used, overused, honestly speaking. But really and truly, I thought this was going to be the most fitting name for the mini series, for the rebranding series that we're doing in February, only because we are actively striving to become the person that we want it to be, whatever that looks like for you. So we are rewiring the identity that we've known all our lives. We are rewriting our own history. We rewrite the ending of our story as well. And we just want to shed whatever doesn't serve us anymore. And we just want to step in to this role that we've always wanted. This series in particular is for the women who know that they are destined for more, but are still stuck in the same patterns. And that goes for me as well. Like, don't get me wrong, it took me a hot minute to get to where I am, but this is, and I'm still nowhere near to where I want to be and to the person I want to become. So we actually are on this journey together, but this is for the women and the girlies who know they're destined for more, who want to actually rewrite their own history and story and change the ending and change the narrative, who've been moving in silence and who have been in survival mode for most of their life. Now, I tick all of those boxes, do not get me wrong. And I know that so many of you can relate to that because you email me, you inbox me, you DM me, and you let me know of all of these things that you're going through. And I appreciate it all, and I love hearing about these stories and the comments that people leave at the bottom of my TikTok videos. Sometimes I'm in awe, and I always ask them, like, do you mind sharing your stories? Like, I'd love to bring this to the BGC platform so every single woman can hear about this. And it's a work in progress. Not everybody is willing to share their story, and yet sometimes they post it in the TikTok comments. Besides the point, we're not going to talk about that. But I know that this is something that we can all benefit from. This is something that we can all learn from and kind of help each other with, essentially, you know, because we are on this journey together. Like, life is tough. We need a sisterhood. We need to stick together. That's what we need to do. So if you are ready to unlearn, rewire, upgrade, and embody the baddest bitch that you want to be, then this series is for you. Then BGC is for you. Let's do this together. And let's start episode 1, which is the unlearning of the programming and the spoon feeding they have given us since we were a child. The unlearning and the undoing of the programming, honeys. Like, we need to listen to that and let that sink in. The propaganda that they fed us, the programming that's happened to us that sometimes we don't even realize, because often I think about it, what you're told as a little girl and what you're told to do when you're told to be quiet, when you're told to be silent, when you're told to be seen and not heard. It teaches you that your place in the world is to be in the shadows. We don't want to see you. We don't want to hear you. Your opinions aren't valid. That's what they're telling you. And then you grow up with that narrative stuck in your head, and you're going to allow disrespect because you will mistake disrespect for obedience. You're not going to stand up for the disrespect and say, hey, no, you're not going to do this. Why? Because you have been programmed to stay silent. You have been programmed to take it on the chin and keep it moving. Why? Because the goodest girls, the nicest girls, the best girls and women are the quiet ones, are the ones that don't kick up a fuss, are the ones that aren't outspoken, are the ones that aren't opinionated, are the ones who aren't afraid to voice their opinions. Not anymore, not today, and not on BGC. We are stopping that shit. We are unlearning the programming they have forced upon us together. So let's get into it. Ladies, let this sink in. We as women, we as girls have been built to be convenient. We have been built to make it easier for the men. We have been built brick by brick, layer by layer, thought by thought, to make it easier for men to go and do what they want, bring this bullshit narrative home, and we just lap it up because why? We are convenient. We are easy. We roll over. We don't kick up a fuss. And that is what patriarchy is built on. The nice girl, the quiet girl, the shy girl, the one that doesn't want to cause a scene. No, we are disrupting the motherfucking scene. We are over it. We are not standing by. We're not standing idly by and be convenient anymore. We are changing the script. We're flipping it on its head and we're serving it back to them. Let them be convenient for a change. Most women don't lack self-esteem. Most women don't lack confidence. Instead, we have had lifelong training in being convenient. Let that sink in. Lifelong training in being convenient, in being quiet, in being non-problematic. And that is why later on in life, you're thinking to yourself, wow, I'm just over here being a doormat, being walked all over by these people because I have been trained to be convenient in every single aspect of my life. Every single aspect of my life. We have truly been taught to shrink ourselves, to dim our light, to make ourselves as small as possible so the man feels as big as possible. He's the big boss man. He's going to take care of everything. You don't have to worry about everything. And that is when you find yourself in a position where you're thinking to yourself, I don't have a voice. I don't have a personality. I don't have anything about myself because I have shrunk myself so much. I haven't followed my passions. I haven't followed my education. I haven't followed this hobby that I wanted. I haven't, pursued this career goal that I've had only because I know that my man or next man that's going to come in my life needs me to be as tiny as possible so they can feel as big as possible and they can go and do whatever they want, when they want, and disrespect me however they want. Let that sink in. And I can understand that finding your voice is going to be difficult. Finding out who you are is going to be difficult, especially when you've had a lifelong kind of personality trait that is in being easy. So when you get to the end of the road and you're starting to question yourself, you're starting to doubt your own personality, you're starting to doubt your own sanity, because you're going to think eventually, oh, no, it's just who I am. It's who I've always been. I have always been convenient. I've always been obedient. I have always listened to what people have said, because why would I want to kick up a fuss? Kicking up a fuss makes you feel uncomfortable because you have been told it is uncomfortable and it's not nice to do and you shouldn't do that. So it's now becoming your personality trait. And babe, that's not it. We're not here for that. Let's delve deeper into this whole personality. Let's disrupt the illusion that they've created for us and dissect what this personality trait is. Because when I think of personality, I will take my own personality into account and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. You could label me as the strong woman, the independent woman, the woman that just gets shit done. But that's because I have learned the hard way and over time that crying doesn't solve anything. Crying isn't going to stop the disrespect. Crying and being upset about something that has happened to me or that has been done to me is not going to solve the issue or the problem. So what have I learned? The hard way instead, that I'm going to have to pull myself up by the bootstraps and move on. I'm going to have to fix it myself. Do it quietly without kicking up a fuss, without explaining or moaning. I truly embody the British monarchy's rule of thumb. Never complain and never explain. You just keep it moving. You just stay gangster at all times. That's not even me. That's not even a word I would use. But you just have to G up and just be cool. Keep it moving. Stop crying. Crying is not going to solve anything. It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to release whatever you're feeling. You just have to move on, because that's the only way you have been taught to move on, because the world doesn't stop for you. The men that are disrespecting you and the people that are disrespecting you are not going to stop. They will just continue. So what do? Move on. Fix it yourself. Worry about it another time. So you're the strong woman. You're the independent woman. You're the woman that gets shit done quietly. Other personality is the chill girl, the chill woman. That woman has learned to be chill the hard way. Why? Because asking too much of people, being needy, she has learned that that scares people, that pushes people away, that makes people believe and think that she's difficult and needy and always needs an extra hand, especially for a woman. You can't have that. You cannot be that. And that goes hand in hand with being the independent woman, right? The independent woman had to crack on. Why? Because you've been disappointed too many times. You have now been forced to be independent because you know that you cannot rely on other people. So the strong woman, the independent woman, and the chill woman, they have all been riddled with trauma. I have to be chill because I need to crack on. I have to be independent because nobody shows up for me. I have to be the strong one because crying is not going to solve the issues. I have been forced to take on these roles because society is telling you that you need to figure it out by yourself without being loud, without being disruptive, whilst being obedient and convenient, because you can't trouble the men. But at the same time, you have to just get it done because you're a woman. You need to be able to spin multiple plates at the same time. You need to be able to cook, clean, worry about the finances, go to work if your man isn't earning enough, as well as raising the kids. Make sure that the kids are raised properly. Make sure that they have a good education system. If you're religious, teach them the religion, but don't cry about being burnt out. Save those tears because we don't want to hear it. You need to be easy. You need to be independent and worry about all of it. Whereas the man will go to work and chill afterwards. See his friends because his 9 to 5 tired him out. His 9 to 5 tired him out so much so that he needs to blow off steam and see his friends and chill with them for hours and then come home, not put the kids to bed, don't bathe them, don't put them to bed. Wants a warm meal on the table. You've been up since the arse crack of dawn. The woman has been up since the arse crack of dawn. She has cooked, she has cleaned, the kids are up, fed, look presentable, go to school, come back, feed them, entertain them, make sure there is food for the man, the house is clean and spotless. God forbid, she might have a 9 to 5 as well because he lives, it's difficult out here for people. She's doing all of that and he's barely doing one thing. But he will get praised for the children looking presentable, for the kids being smart, for the kids being well educated, for the kids being well behaved. Oh, they must come from a household where a strong man is present. Because look at how the kids turned out. But no, it's not the woman that's slaving away. It's not the woman that has done everything behind the scenes. And also, God forbid, you don't look presentable as a woman. God forbid you've got eye bags. Why do you look tired? Oh no, because I've not just pulled a 24-hour shift, right? And I've slept for 3 hours because the kids are sick and the husband is sick and I can't afford any time to be sick because if I'm sick, the whole house falls apart. But no, it's the strong man that's keeping the household together. If I could roll my eyes so far back that I go blind, I'd do it in a heartbeat because I am so tired of this narrative over and over again. When is it going to stop? When is it going to stop? And that is why I have created this series. That is why this series is just going to liberate us all. Even if we don't implement anything, it's just nice to say these things out loud because I'm not seeing anybody saying these things out loud. I'm not seeing anybody actually saying, no, this is bullshit. What we have been fed is fucking bullshit. We don't want it. So here I am telling you it's BS. Stop feeding us BS and telling us it's gold. I don't want it. You can keep it to yourself. And don't get me started on the funny friend. Don't get me started on the friend that is funny, that's witty, quick on their feet, always has something quick to say. Why? Because they find relief in comedy. It makes me so sad to think about all of the funny friends that I have who are riddled with trauma and their trauma response is to make fun and light of everything. Breaks my heart to know that they are funny because of X, Y, and Z has happened to them. Can't fathom that. Let's take it all the way back. And I know that we've touched upon this a little bit already, but the shrinking of yourself, of your personality, of your existence starts in the household that you grow up in. It starts in childhood. The conditioning starts when you're really, really young. And you see this in children's clothing, children's toys, children's TV programs, the superheroes that we watch, the language that we use when we're raising the kids, what the children are being told and taught in school as well as at home. The conditioning is so deeply embedded in the systems that we use every single day that, of course, patriarchy is alive and well, because it starts in the womb, first and foremost. It starts with the gender reveal. It starts with the colors. It starts with the language that you're using to refer to the kid that's not even been born yet. And then once they have been born, it starts with how the nursery is decorated and dressed, how you dress them, how you speak to them, what you feed them as well. Little girls are being fed airy, fairy, light meals because you don't want it to be too chubby. This boy is being fed all the carbs in the world, all the fatty stuff in the world because they need to be big, strong, and bold. Why? They're children. They need to fucking eat. What do you mean I'm feeding the kids different meals? Then with nurseries, with schools, nursery rhymes, what they're being taught, the education system, the education route for both boys and girls, they're all so vastly different that the conditioning and the shrinking of yourself as a woman starts so early on that you don't even stand a fighting chance. So no wonder that when we get into our 20s and we wake up and we're finally like the sleeper agent in us has been deactivated, we're like looking around us thinking, what is going on? Why have I been putting up with this shit? We're waking up, but it's a long journey to get there. Girl, they start when we're like 1 month old. Little girls, they get praised for being helpful, for being obedient, for being quiet, for helping the mum, for being agreeable, for being so mature so quickly for her age, which has a whole set of other problems. Because why are you looking at a little girl and thinking to yourself, wow, she's really mature for her age? You nonce. No, it's a little girl. What is going on? But it's these themes that keep propping up in every single household. And with every girl that I speak to, it's the same story, different font. They do it different in different households based on different religions and different cultures, but the blueprint is the exact same. It hasn't changed, and it probably won't change because the system works. It keeps women under the thumb, but it's the same everywhere you go. What does inconvenience look like for women? Standing up for yourself, saying no, wanting to rest because you're tired. God forbid you want to put your feet up because you had a long day at work. No, you can't do that. You need to get in the kitchen and cook. How dare you be tired? How dare you let the man come home and he has nothing to eat when we have pulled the same shift? How is that possible? How is that possible? So you find yourself apologizing for just normal, natural things that should be fine that the man is doing, but you can't do because you're being upheld to a completely different set of standards. And that's when the shrinking and the apologizing starts, immediately off the set. So remember, ladies, some of you are not low maintenance. You're just literally emotionally starved and drained and malnourished. Let's talk about religion and culture and the good woman programming that happens within both of those. Now, I'm going to have to tread lightly here because I don't want to offend. I don't want to misspeak or misquote. I don't want to project personal feelings into things that aren't factual, because feelings aren't facts. They're just how you feel, obviously. But it is something that crops up in a lot of different aspects of your life, especially if you have been raised religiously and in a culturally strong household. And the good woman programming is found in both those themes, especially when religion is being used as punishment and when culture is being used as a shield. So let's talk about it. I know from personal experience that religion gives you strength. Religion is like this invisible food that gives you strength, power, courage to go through life. especially when the chips are down, especially when things don't go the way you want it to go. I know that you can draw strength from your relationship with God. There is no denying that. There's no talking about it in an indifferent way. It is the way it is. And I also know that culture gives you your identity. It's the building blocks to who you are as a person. It's the fundamental first brick layering, or the first layer of bricks in who you are as a person. Now, what I do know is that you can hide behind both of those things and spin it on its head and make people believe one thing when really and truly religion sets you free and culture is just kind of a guide into who you can be. You take from it what you want and you leave the rest behind. It's not mandatory to behave in a cultural way. If you are in a culture that you don't like, leave. You don't have to live in a very cultural-esque way. Who's told you that? And I'm heavy on religion giving you strength. I'm heavy on you being able to draw power and resilience through your faith, right? Because I feel like you can be a really strong person in your religion. You can be incredibly spiritual. You can have a good foundation with God and a good relationship with God, which is going to teach you to endure the difficult times. And then culture is what's going to let you down. So as an adult, you can then be a woman who's steadfast in her faith, right? Who is incredibly well educated in her religion and is enduring and praying and hoping and relying on her faith because the man that she's with, the culture that she's grew up in, taught her to endure all types of bullshit. And I'm heavy on the enduring part. They'll always tell you endure, pray, have faith, have patience, it'll be fine, speak to God. And this is where men thrive because they hide behind the ideation of tradition. They'll hide behind culture. Because what are women told when they're getting married or they're growing up? Be patient, be strong, have faith. You will be okay. Just give it time. Whereas men, they're told to rule with an iron fist. Take no ifs, buts, or maybes. Your word is law. What you say is how it's going to be. Be incredibly disciplined, be harsh, be bold. Where does that leave the women? Drained, tired, enduring bullshit that you don't need to endure. And that's why I feel like religion and culture go hand in hand, because you can pray all of the BS away, but if the culture is preserving this type of behavior, then why would it go away? Why would it leave? Unless you wake up and realize that the situation that you're in is incredibly toxic, it'll never leave. It'll never move on. You will never liberate yourself and unshackle yourself from the ideation of men ruling with an iron fist. Like, that's not going to go anywhere because this is how it's always been. So as women, we are spiritually strong because we rely on our faith, but socially, we tolerate BS because that's what we've been told. Make that make sense? Imagine knowing how to pray through pain, but not know how to leave abuse. Imagine knowing how to pray for faith and strength and endurance, but don't know how to leave disrespect. Imagine confusing disrespect with being obedient. That's what men hiding behind culture are doing to women. They will let you know that no, this is how it's supposed to be. I am supposed to disrespect you, run you ragged, make you tired, and leave you with your cup completely empty whilst you are continuously filling my cup. Because that's how it's supposed to be. It's going to make you a better woman. It's going to make you a stronger woman. It's going to strengthen your relationship with God. Because why? You can't rely on me as a man, but you can rely on your God. If you're in pain, don't come to me with your pain. Don't come to me with your sadness. Do not come to me with any of your womanly BS, because I don't want to hear it. Go speak to your God. He got you. You will be fine. Pray the pain away whilst I continuously inflict this pain on you. I can't. Hearing that out loud knocks me sick. Knocks me sick. You know what we need? We need an all-female society where men are banished and we do it ourselves. We are educated. We are smart. We are trained. We have money. We can do it all ourselves. And you know what? There's about 8 billion people in this world. We don't need more kids. We got babies, enough babies. So if we live in an all-female society where we uplift each other, where one is a hairdresser, a lash tech, a nail tech, the other one's a lawyer, one is an electrician, the other one's a doctor, a nurse, a midwife. Well, we don't need midwives because we ain't having no babies. But imagine if we were in a well-functioning, a well-oiled machine, a functioning, all high-thriving society with just women, we would win. We would actually win. Oh my God, I'm getting too excited for something that doesn't exist. We ask for less. We say sorry all the time. We apologize. We want to make sure that they are happy, they are fed, that they are okay before we fill our own cup. How can I pour from an empty cup? How can I make sure that you are okay when I'm not okay? How is that a thing? But we have been told that we don't need to be okay. As long as the man's okay, as long as he is okay, all will be fine. He will provide for you. But we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know what women endure. And then when we do speak about our experiences and we do talk about the fact that so much abuse happens, whether it's physical abuse, financial abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, whatever it may be, when we do speak about those things and those themes come up and those elements come up, we're looked at as if we're crazy. Oh, what have you done to deserve that? What behaviors have you demonstrated for him to behave that way? What did you do to the man for him to slap you? We're never questioning their behaviors, but we are questioning and being grilled about the behaviors that we have demonstrated that resulted in that action. Why? Ask yourself those questions. Why? So we've reduced ourselves to not feel any type of rejection, because what are you also told as a woman? That you're only loved and desirable if a man has chosen you, that you've only succeeded in life when you are married, that you've only achieved something once you have reproduced. So this idea of pre-rejecting ourselves, our beliefs, our notions, our dreams comes from the idea and this whole patriarchal system that has been built so that we are smaller for men, so they don't reject us. Because why? As a woman, you need to be desirable. You need to be loved. God forbid you're a woman in her 30s that has prioritized herself, that doesn't want a man. You're damaged goods. You're broken. Nobody wants you. People will actually actively question why you are single, why you are on your own, why nobody has picked you. What is wrong with you? Something has to be fundamentally wrong with you for you to not have a man. For you to have chosen a path for yourself, you have to be sick. There is no way on God's green earth that you can be a high-performing, high-thriving woman that has chosen herself, that has actively chosen to not have kids early and to not be married early. If you do that, something's wrong with you. Why did you do that? You must have been rejected because something is wrong. Either you're crazy, you're sick, you come from a crazy family, something has happened that has led you down this path, because God forbid a woman chooses herself. God forbid we want to live our lives the way men live their lives. God forbid we want to have fun and date for fun and see different things and travel and experience life. God forbid we choose ourselves. God forbid we reprogram and realize that we don't want to be convenient or obedient or small, so you feel big. This then leaves us to ask ourselves the important questions. When we strip all of that away, when we come to terms with the fact that we have been living our lives a certain way for God knows how long, who are we? Who am I when I'm not being obedient, when I'm not being easy, when I'm not placating myself and making myself more palatable and more like reasonable in front of the people? Who am I when I strip all of the self-rejection away? What do I want? What do I want out of life? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? What is that version of myself? What does that version of myself look like? And how do I get there? These are all of the questions that'll be going through your mind, because you're finally in a position to ask yourself and shake whatever has been spent, and you can finally shake whatever you have been spoon-fed off of you, and you will be left with, okay, then who am I? What do I want? Where do I want to go from here? Remove the performances that you've been performing, remove the roles that you've had in your life catering to all of these people, and ask yourself the hard-hitting questions. Who am I? What do I want? Where do I want to go? And how am I going to present myself moving forward? Because when you get to the crossroads, when you finally wake up and you take these rose-colored glasses off and you've removed the self-rejection, you are going to have to figure out who you are and what you want from life moving forward. What do I look like outside of survival mode? Because I don't think you know. I think if you've been in flight or fight your whole life and you have been making yourself small your whole life, once you have removed yourself out of being in active survival mode, who are you? What do you want? What does life look like for you? What are your hobbies? What types of foods do you want to eat? How do you want to decorate your house? How do you want to dress yourself? How do you want to address yourself? How do you want to speak about yourself? Because you're no longer shrinking yourself. You're no longer rejecting all of these ideas that you have. And you are no longer rejecting all of these ideas that you have. So really, what am I doing with myself? Where am I going? What are my next steps? And that is truly the most exciting stage of your life. You are shedding this old identity and you're about to step into this brand new identity. And don't get me wrong, it's going to take a lot of work to get to that point. But once you are at that point and you're ready and willing and able to do the work, you're halfway there. You're halfway there. Oh, this is so exciting. And that is episode 1, chapter 1 of our Becoming series. I hope you've enjoyed this episode because I've loved filming this episode. We've talked about so many good things. We've had a good natter. We've touched upon incredible things. So I hope it lands the way I want it to land. I hope you receive it the way I want you to receive it. And don't forget, I'm learning just as much as you're learning. I'm experiencing just as much as you're experiencing. So me and you, we're going to be like this. At the end of the 4 chapters, we're going to be like this. And I can't wait. And as always, you can email me at hello@blackgirlconfessions. You can go on my website, blackgirlconfessions.com. You can find me on both Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, as always. On Instagram and TikTok, I am Black Girl Confessions Pod. And you can find me on Spotify as well if you could download and watch the episodes. Muchos appreciated. Thank you very much. And let me know what your thoughts are. Leave some comments down below. I'm always active on the inboxes. I'm always active in the comment section. So let's just natter. Let's have a good conversation. And as always, I will see you fuckers next Monday. Bye.